Hello, everyone. My name is Lucia.
And I'm Ashley, and welcome back to the 76 Cents Pod.
Yeah, welcome back. That's a great way of putting it. As our very dedicated 5 to 10 listeners may have realized, it is in fact July. um, so sorry about that. But yeah, quick updates from the last 6 months. I graduated college. I got into grad school. I'm working at a summer camp right now, and I'm very busy. So that's my excuse.
Yeah. My life update is that I got a new job at the hospital and I'm applying to grad school right now. So yeah, we were taking GRE, we were doing all of that. It was a mess.
It
So
was it was a lot, and I had COVID in April. Like the pod wasn't happening. I'm sorry to say, but we're back for now. We'll see about that. I'll knock on wood. But anyways, what better way to have a comeback than with our favorite topic, Taylor Swift.
exactly. So
What are we doing today, Ashley?
today we have a very exciting topic. We are going to be going through some deep Taylor Swift lyrics and analyzing them for y'all. Because I think that's necessary for everyone to hear. Like y'all just need to get a full breakdown of what we're talking about here. So
Yeah. And there's this YouTube channel where this English teacher breaks down her lyrics, and it's really good. So my inspiration for this is also based on her because her videos are good. Her name's English teacher KP. Just a quick little plug. But she really be understanding those lyrics. She's just really good at interpreting. But that's what we're gonna try and do for you today.
yeah, and we were those AP Lang, AP Lit students.
Mm-hmm.
We still
In
got
another universe, I probably would have majored in English. Not this one, but in some universe.
and the multiverse is real. Somewhere there is a version of you that is an English major. It's not
Exactly.
this universe, but
Exactly.
somewhere. I kind of feel that, like, I don't know, I feel like we're both very analytical people and we can like dive deep into like the meanings of all of this. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. What is your first song that you would like us to analyze today?
Well, really, I only wrote down lyrics from folklore because I felt like that is the album to unpack here.
It
And
is true.
but like
I do remember when that came out, I was like, wow, this is deep. This is a lot to process, and
yes.
I'm going to need a lot of time to think about it. And I still think about it. So you're right.
Yeah, so I just kind of went through the whole album and I went in order of like the songs and I just like wrote down like some of the deepest lyrics from every song. And if I'm being honest, we got some pages here, so we're not going to be able to break all of that down. But I guess I'll just kind of go in order, starting with the song The One. Let's see, what's my favorite one out of these ones that I have written down? Okay.
I like the lines, we never painted by the numbers, baby, but we were making it count.
Yes.
The greatest loves of all time are over now.
I was gonna say, the greatest loves of all time are over now. It's like interesting because the whole song is like kind of like we were talking about a different universe. It's like in another world. Like if things had been different, like you would have been the one is like the whole point of the song. And like it's kind of crazy. It's like the greatest loves of all time are over now, but in another like universe, maybe like we would have stayed together. So yeah, that's a good lyric.
I really like that part because it's kind of a play on words.
Yeah.
Painted by the numbers, but we were making it count because you follow the numbers.
Look at that.
And they really tried to keep that relationship together, but it just didn't work out. But
yeah, like
some other world.
They painted by the numbers, like they did everything that they needed to do, but like sometimes it just doesn't work out. Like it's just not. Just that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does suck, but sometimes it just happens like that.
Girl, tell me why I was having this conversation literally last night with my friends. One of our friends, I'm not gonna
Oh,
say who, but like she was like talking to this guy or something, and then they like realized they didn't have the same values, and I was like, that just sucks because it's like there wasn't anything wrong, and they just weren't like compatible. Like, dang.
just didn't work out. Yeah.
Yeah. Another lyric, um, that I like from that song is I persist and resist the temptation to ask you if one thing had been different, would everything be different today? Because it's like
Mm,
she knows like that she shouldn't be thinking about it that way, but it's like if it had been different, like what would my life be like now? So
mm-hmm.
I like that because it's like she knows in her mind like she can dwell on this, but like she's still thinking about it. And then that goes into like another lyric that I wrote down. Um, in my defense, I have none for digging up the grave another time, but it would have been fun if you would have been the one. Because she's kind of like apologizing for like bringing it up again, and she like doesn't have a reason or a defense of like why she's doing it. And there's no reason
Mm-hmm.
'cause, like she's happy with her life now, but it's like interesting to think of like what would her life have been like if she had been with this person. So
Yeah. Just like a lot of what ifs. Like you never know. Um, the possibilities that could have happened and they won't, but it, of course it's okay to be curious. Can do some imagining, you know.
yeah,
Love romanticizing. Love that fantasy life.
dude, that this whole album has so much, and Evermore, about like romanticizing
Mm-hmm.
like things that could be or could have been that aren't
Mm-hmm.
happening, but it's like I feel like it's kind of comforting because it's like sometimes you feel bad for thinking those things, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like this like song specifically, it's like it's such a sweet song, and it's like not coming from a place of oh you should have been better, things should have been different, whatever. It's like no, she's happy with where she's at now, but
Mm-hmm.
just like reminiscing on like what could have been, I guess.
Yeah. You know, the greatest films of all time are never made. Like it could have been so much greater, but it's okay. It didn't happen. We move on, but we can still think about it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Great song, 10 out of 10.
Love that one. Probably the most happy song on that album, except for like Invisible String.
I don't know. I feel
I don't
like
really remember all the names right now, but yeah, I do like the one a lot. Like I think it's on the happier side at least.
yeah, like it's not necessarily happy, but it is like
Yeah, I don't think any of the songs are really that happy.
yeah.
He was
I
going
like
through
The
it.
Last Great American Dynasty. That one's more upbeat, like
Mm-hmm.
storytelling.
That's true. Yeah,
Okay.
love that.
Do you have a lyric that you would like to analyze?
Yeah, so I'm since you were looking at folklore songs, I have a couple of Evermore songs pulled up. Um, the first one, my favorite, Cowboy Like Me. It's just a bop, and I really like the bridge and the skeletons in both our closets plotted hard to fuck this up. And the old man that I swindled really did believe I was the one. And then the part where she goes, now you hang from my lips like the gardens of Babylon, with your boots beneath my bed, forever as the sweetest fun. And every time I hear that, I just think about like the Holes movie and kissing Kate Barlow and Sam. Because it's like their love was like no one expected it to happen, you know? But it was like and even she didn't expect it, but it was something real, and they had to swindle, you know. They really did have to swindle. And then at the end when it's like I'm never gonna love again, like it was a very tragic love story, but she knows that it was a genuine relationship with a very similar person, like a person that had many of her values and like related to her in ways that like they didn't relate to other people.
Yeah. That's kind of interesting because I like never saw it that way. I sort of saw it as like they both had separate pasts, like talking about the skeletons in both their closets, plotted hard to mess this up. So like they both have a past that's like
Mm-hmm.
not the greatest. And then and she says, and the old men that I've swindled really did believe I was the one. So it's like she's kind of like tricking these men. And then for him, the ladies lunching have their stories about when you pass through town. but that was all before I locked it down. So it's like they both have these past of like these histories of relationships of like people that they kind of played. It reminds me of Breakfast at Tiffany's. Like that's what I think about when I hear this song.
Yeah.
Because like, have you seen Breakfast at Tiffany's?
The one with Audrey Hepburn. I feel like I have, but it was a long time ago.
Basically, bottom line, like Audrey Hepburn's character is like an escort, and she wants to like marry a rich man and whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like that's her lifestyle. And then Paul Varjak is like the dude, and he moves into the apartment, and he's like basically a prostitute for this older lady that like pays for his apartment and like comes and like leaves money for him and whatever, and they're having like an affair. And so it's like it reminds me of that because they both have like these like weird like escorty kind of like lifestyle, but then they like fall in love with each other like because they start off as friends, and it's like I'm never gonna love again. In the end of the song, it kind of reminds me of like in the end of Breakfast at Tiffany's, she is leaving in a cab to like go after this rich man that she wanted to marry for his money and whatever. And like Paul basically stops her and is like, I love you and whatever, and then they kiss in the rain and they find the cat and whatever. So it's like that is like I'm never gonna love again. Like I don't need that lifestyle anymore because like you're the one that I want to pick. So that's how I interpreted
I like that interpretation. Yeah, it's kind of like these two people, they might have not had a great history or like past, but like it doesn't matter to the person that they love now because it's like, well, that it doesn't involve me, and I can still love you for who you are, and it like kind of changes their life because it's like, well, now I know what love is, and I'm not ever gonna find something like this again.
Yeah, and it's like you're a cowboy like me, like yeah, you've got tricks up your sleeve and stuff, but like we're
similar, yeah.
like
We're
both
one.
had
We're
that.
one.
Yeah, like we both had that experience, but we're choosing to like put that aside to love like one another.
I like that song a lot.
I honestly did not like that song at first.
Okay, I've heard that is a very popular opinion.
But like the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yeah. Love it.
Okay.
Back to folklore. Let's see.
I want to like go into like a deeper song. Like I'm gonna go out of order because I don't want to talk about Cardigan that much.
There's a lot of songs, man. Yeah.
We got a lot to cover here. A lot. So let's just go right to Exile. We're gonna go deep now. So there's just so many good lyrics in this song. I guess like two of my favorite ones. The part where she says second, third, and 100th chances balancing on breaking branches, those eyes add insult to injury. So the way that I interpret that lyric is like you're giving someone like so many chances because like you care about them, but like you're balancing on breaking branches. So it's like in the end, like it's probably not gonna work or like it's all gonna come crumbling down, but like you're gonna give it that chance anyways. And then like those eyes add insult to injury. So it's like you're hurting each other, but it's not just that. It's like a deep emotional hurt that you're both doing to one another. And like you both don't want to give up on it. And like the whole song is like them going back and forth with like Taylor Swift and like is it Bon Iver or Bon Iver? Like
Iver. I think it's Bon Iver. I don't remember.
Don't judge me for
someone told me the pronunciation once. I don't remember.
Yeah. But it's like the back and forth between them, and like he's watching her like move on with some other man, and she's like, I gave you like so much, like I gave you so many chances, like and you just like didn't do anything with it and whatever. And it's like sad.
It is very sad. It's like, and especially like the part where they're like singing over each other and they're not like listening to each other. I feel like that part, like the lyrics themselves are also good, of course, but like the fact that she like layered them kind of on top of each other.
Yeah.
Like you never gave a warning sign. I gave so many signs. Like this relationship, maybe they both wanted it, but it wasn't like clearly there was like a problem with it, and like every time they would have another chance, it would just, it would come to close to breaking again. And the fact that she's also repeating like I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending, like she knows it's gonna end badly, but she still is like, why am I defending it? Because like some part of her, still wants to be in it, even though it's only hurting her and only hurting him too.
Yeah. And like the part where he's like, and it took you 5 whole minutes to pack us up and leave me with it, holding all this love out here in the hall. And he's like, it took you like 5 minutes to leave me, basically. But it's like she, on her end, she's like, no, I gave you all these signs. I gave you like 100 chances. You never did anything with it. And now like I'm choosing like my own peace over trying to mend this thing that like I know it's not going to work out. Like you said, like I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. I'm not your problem anymore. So who am I offending now? She's like, I'm going to take myself out of this equation because like it's hurting both of us. And like you can't be offended. And like the line where it's like, you were my crown, now I'm in exile seeing you out. It's like, you were my everything. I tried so hard, but it's still like just didn't work. And now like you're two like whole separate people. And it's like, oh my gosh, this song's too relatable. I need to take a drink.
Take a sip. Take a sip. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. Like, and the emotions, the way that they sing it too, I feel like that adds a lot, because it's
good.
one thing to just like write it. Like obviously the poetry is great, but then you like add, the performance to it, and it's just like they're singing over each other, and it's like getting louder, and they're like yelling. Like, yeah, it's like
two of them like going back and forth, and like you're getting both of the perspectives. Like this song is a work of art. If you do not agree, I'm sorry, I just disagree. If you don't think that this song is like, I feel like so much thought was put into this song.
For sure.
Every lyric is just so like intentional, and even like you said, like the performance of it is intentional.
Exactly. Yeah. I love it.
So good.
Could really do a deep, close reading of every line, but I think that would take me a little too
long. I'll let you pick the next one.
Okay. Going back to Evermore, let's see. The whole song of Champagne Problems. It's just,
we have a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot. For those who don't know, this song is basically about like another relationship falling apart. But the way that she like has these parallels in the choruses, and like let me find one, for example. Okay, basically the part where she's like
storyline.
Basically, basically, the guy proposed and she said no because I don't know why, but then she got champagne problems. Let's just say that. But a lot of the lines are just like the way that she weaves it together is very, very clever.
I like that it's not like full sentences. It's like kind of like showing you the scene of what's happening without telling you what's happening. Like, exactly. For example, like there's like a verse that says, your mom's ring in your pocket, my picture in your wallet, your heart was glass, I dropped it, champagne problems. Like it's not explicitly stating what happened, but it's like, like his mom's ring was there. He had her picture in his wallet. Like he loves her, like he wants to marry her. And then like she dropped his heart and like broke it and it shattered.
Yep, you had a speech, you're speechless. Love slipped beyond your reaches, and I couldn't give a reason. Champagne problems. Like it paints such a very clear image of what is going on without even being like that direct. And then I think this verse is probably my favorite. Your Midas touch on the Chevy door, November flush, and your flannel cure. This dorm was once a madhouse. I made a joke. Well, it's made for me. Like everything about that, like Midas from like Greek myth, the guy who turned everyone to gold. Like this guy, obviously he means a lot to her and he's a great guy. He turns everything to gold. He he gives her a flannel because it's cold and it's
Yeah.
November and she's freezing. And then he's saying like, you know, I think he's like trying to acknowledge that like maybe their family or whatever is kind of crazy. And she's like, well, that's, you know, that I'm also part of that. Like, can't really change what happened. And then later it's saying how evergreen our group of friends, don't think we'll say that word again. Like, you know, her turning him down kind of broke everything apart. And now
Yeah, and it's like
this
evergreen, like you get this imagery of
Mhm.
like something that lasts throughout like the whole year. And like so you think like their group of friends is gonna last forever, but then like it's not because it just like all ends. And then the next line, and soon they'll have the nerve to deck the halls that we once walked through. It's like their
Mhm.
friends are gonna move on and like they're gonna celebrate and they're gonna live their lives, but it's like they're not gonna be a part of it together anymore.
Yeah. And then the line that says, sometimes you just don't know the answer till someone's on their knees and asks you. And I've seen a lot of people analyze this line also, but like the fact that it's knees plural, like he was begging, like begging her to say yes. And he didn't know the answer was no until, well, she didn't know that, like someone didn't know the answer was no until like that happened. And then they say she would have made such a lovely bride. And then it just descends into sadness, you know.
Also, the thing about this song is like the outside perspective of like she would have made such a lovely bride was shame she's fucked in the head, they said, but you'll find the real thing instead. She'll patch up your tapestry that I shred. It's like sad because all the other people are looking outside on it, like, oh, she's like messed up, like something's wrong with her for saying this. And she's just out here like, I'm sorry, like I know I broke your heart, like
Mhm.
I couldn't give you a reason and I know like that's not enough and whatever. And it's like I feel like she's like coming from such a genuine place and like sometimes like even the line, sometimes you just don't know the answer. Like she didn't know what her answer would be, even herself. And she like
Yeah. And
she's
she
not
still
like
wishes
doing
him
it
the
out of
best.
yeah, she's not
Yeah.
doing it out of malice or like any form of hate, but these people looking from the outside are like she's messed up, like
Yeah.
whatever. And it's like it's kind of different because you can also tell like he, even though he's heartbroken, like he's the one that's like he booked the night train so he could sit
Mhm.
there in this hurt and like it's just like he's
Mhm.
like completely heartbroken, but he's also not blaming her.
Yeah. Such a sad song. And she yeah, like I was saying, she's at the end, she's like, you'll find the real thing instead. Like, I'm sorry that this couldn't happen, but like you will find that one someday who won't leave you like this and like
You
you
won't
won't even
remember
remember
all my
me.
champagne
Exactly.
problems.
Exactly. It's just like you'll move on one day and I'll just be something that you don't need to think about. And I'm sorry that like right now, obviously it's not great, but you'll be better one day.
Also, I feel like
Sad.
there's like so much like you can see her development in these past two albums, like Folklore and Evermore,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like in the beginning, like Taylor Swift was like obviously like picture to burn, like I hate you, blah blah,
Yeah.
and like screw you, like all this sort of like that was the vibe, or
Yeah.
like how could you do this to me? But now, like a lot of these songs, it's like showing both sides of the story. And it's like, yeah, it didn't
Mm-hmm.
work out, but like maybe in another life it could have worked out. Or in
Mm-hmm.
exile, like it wasn't working, we were hurting each other, but I still like there's still a part of her that cares, like you are my crown. Like
Yeah.
and
I
then in
think it shows a
champagne,
lot of growth on her part too.
yeah, and then champagne problems, it's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially like I feel like since she was painted badly for a long time, like, oh, she's so evil, like she just wants to date people. because she wants, I don't know, to be more famous or like their money or something. But she's like trying to show everyone that like, you know, real people have problems on both sides of relationships, and like it's not realistic to think that like one person is all to blame. And like you're saying, all of these songs that we've chosen so far just like coincidentally have been showing that. But like I think it's just a lot more like practical to realize that it's not entirely one person's fault, but it doesn't mean like you're bad people. It's just like, you know, sometimes things happen that you can't control, and that's just what's gonna happen. Yeah.
I feel like it's like there's so much more depth to like the understanding of like what a relationship is in like her later songs that just comes out, and it's just like it's just nice to see, because it's like I feel like when you're going through something like that, like you don't want to hate the other person, like unless they really like did something bad to you, but it's like you love that person. Like you can't just go from loving someone to like absolutely hating them. Like that's just not how it works. And I feel like like all of these lyrics kind of show like the middle ground of like you still care about them, but you know you can't be with them, kind of.
Yeah. Love it.
T Swift, she really hitting us with these. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna pick the next song, and it's also gonna be deep and depressing. But okay, so the next song that I want to talk about is My Tears Ricochet. I'm sorry, I know this is about Carly Kloss. I just know it. Like it has to be. It has to be about Carly Kloss. You know, because like she's out here being friends with Scooter Braun still, and
married to a Kushner.
Like, what are you doing, girl? What are you doing?
Someone needs to get that girl out of there. Like, why are you married into the Trump family? I'm sorry to say, but that is a problem.
Like, oh,
and she knows it too. She knows it. Like, there's no way she didn't know. Anyways, girl, get up.
So,
anyways,
My Tears Ricochet. I'm gonna read this like whole chorus first. So, I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, and you're the hero flying around saving face. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake, cursing my name, wishing I stayed? Look at how my tears ricochet. So that first line, I didn't have it in myself to go with grace. Like, she just couldn't like leave in a graceful way, because like this was like a deep friendship that like the other person screwed her over so bad. She's like, I couldn't go with grace. But
betrayed her trust.
Yeah. Then she's like, you're the hero flying around saving face. And it's like a slap in the freaking face. It's like when a friend does something to you so bad and they're trying to play it off like you're the bad guy, and like that they did nothing wrong, and they're trying to save face, and they're like, oh, you're dead to me, whatever. So then Taylor Swift is like, and if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake? She's like, so why do you still care about me then? Like, if I'm dead to you, like, what are you doing here? Like,
why are you
cursing my name, wishing I
like saying horrible things about me and pretending like I care, like just, you know, besmirching my name for no reason. Like, I thought we weren't friends, we were not going to communicate, like something's wrong here.
And it's like, it's sad because it's like it's a friend who's betrayed her, and then they're trying to act like they're the one that's in the right, and that they didn't do anything wrong, and they're saying all this crap about her, but in the meantime they're wishing that she stayed, because it's like she's like, okay, this friendship isn't working out, like you're a bad friend to me, I can't stay in this, like I have to leave, like I can't go with grace. And then the friend is just like, screw you, like cursing her name, but they still are like hurt that she left in the first place, and it's like, no, like you can't stay in like a toxic friendship like that. And
exactly. Then like, wasn't benefiting anyone. Like
and it's like the tears that like she was experiencing because of all the pain that was like in this friendship, like she left, and then the other person is now like acting a fool, and like they're upset over it, and it's like, well, then maybe you shouldn't have done that.
And then I like when she changes the chorus to I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, and so the battleships will sink beneath the waves. You had to kill me, but it killed you just the same. Cursing my name, wishing I'd stayed, you turned into your worst fears. And you're tossing out blame, drunk on this pain, crossing out the good years. It's like, this is like the end, kind of, but like,
Yeah, and she's kind of
clearly
like with
they still have like some beef between them, even though they said it's over.
Yeah.
And it's obviously painful on both sides, but now like you want to like come around and like tell everyone that it wasn't your fault at all, it was only the other person's fault.
Yeah, and I like the line like the battleships will sink beneath the waves because it's like I'm not gonna fight with you anymore. Like I'm
It's
putting
over.
my
Yeah.
guns down. Like I don't have the time or energy, or like I don't want to experience the pain that goes with like trying to fight this out anymore. Like you can do you whatever, but like I'm not gonna argue anymore.
Yeah. And the bridge is just so sad when she says, I can go anywhere I want, just not home. You can aim for my heart, go for blood, but you would still miss me in your bones. And I
And
still
I still
talk to
talk to
you.
you.
Yep. When I'm screaming at the sky, and you when you can't sleep at night, you hear my stolen lullabies. And someone said the stolen lullabies because her music was stolen. I was like, oh, the
Yes,
drama.
literally.
It's like
This is
they're
why I'm
still
like,
thinking
this is
about
not
each other. They're still thinking about each other and their friendship. But and it's never going to be the same, obviously. Like everyone's changed about it. Like you can go anywhere, but she can't go home because it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
And they can continue to fight, but they know that like they're still thinking about each other.
Yeah, and it's like the part where she's like, you can aim for my heart, go for blood, but you would still miss me in your bones. It's like, I know like we had a friendship that like mattered to you. And even if you're like trying to hurt me now and like point all this at me, like you're still gonna miss me. And I know like, I don't know. And then just like, oh my gosh, you turned
It's
into
just too
your
much.
worst fears because like they were friends and they like you know like when you're with your
Yeah.
friends like, and like someone else is like hurting you, you're like, oh screw that person, whatever, and like I'd never be like that or whatever.
Yeah.
Then like she turns around and becomes her worst fears and like
Yeah.
becomes the one who's hurting this like friend who she had.
Yep. And then crossing out the good years, like it just like makes it mean nothing. Like all that time that they had spent together, well, what was the point, you know? Because now it's over and they're cursing each other's name, just drunk on this pain.
Drunk on this pain.
So
And it's
sad.
like the drunk on this pain part, like that is so deep, but like I feel like that's underrated because like drunk on this pain, like
They
you're
want
in
it to
so much
hurt.
pain that you can't really control your actions,
Yeah.
is basically how I interpret it. Like you, that person is also feeling pain from losing whatever friendship this is or relationship or whatever, but they're like so in a state of pain that they can't even control their actions and they're doing all these nasty things, and it's crossing out the good years, like it's ruining what they had before because they're so focused on the hurt of it that they can't see what the good was in the friendship before.
Yeah. It's just like
Ugh.
leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Like it could have been fine. You could have just went your separate ways. But no, you had to like, antagonize and continue to like just make it worse.
Look at how my tears ricochet. Oh, I love it in the Long Pond studio versions, wherever she's like, look at how my tears ricochet, and then she like kind of like whispers my tears turning into your tears, because it's like her pain is reflected in this other person too, and they both know it, yet there's still like a fight happening.
Yeah. And Ricochet like bouncing back and forth. Like
Yeah.
it's like paralleling each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I love that song.
Whew. So sad. Let's see what else we got. I'm looking at Evermore now, the song. That one is just like
If you've ever had
also a
depression,
lot.
like if you've ever
Yeah.
had depression, like you understand this song.
Like let me just start going through it. Like it's like the first verse being like gray November. I've been down since July. It's literally July right now. And then later she says, "Hey December, guess I'm feeling unmoored. Can't remember what I used to fight for." Like it's like showing the progression over time. She's like dwelling on things that have been happening. She's replaying her footsteps, rewinding the tape. The pain would be forevermore. And
Yeah.
then this I guess it's part of the bridge. Cannot think of all the costs and all the things that will be lost. Oh, can we just get a pause? That one. It's just like when you like feel so, I guess, like trapped in yourself and you're just like asking yourself, can't something like, I don't know when I will get better, or like, is it gonna be like this forever? Like I don't know what to do. You feel hopeless and you feel shipwrecked. And
Yeah.
then I think this part is, let's see, the part where she's like talking about, I thought of you, like when I was shipwrecked, I thought of you. That's like the one part of the song that's like slightly less depressing,
Yeah.
because it's
It's
like
like that
even
silver
through,
lining.
right, like even through all of that like pain and like suffering that you go through, there's always going to be something or someone out there that like makes the pain not feel like it'll be lasting forevermore. Like
Yeah.
it it and it's real and it gets you through the days. It's just literally too much.
And I just love the imagery of this song. Like
Mm-hmm.
the whole part. So he's like, can we just get a pause to be certain we'll be tall again? Like you were saying, like, is there ever going to be a time like where I'm not being tossed on these waves that I can just
Mm-hmm.
like stand, that I can just be fine? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the imagery of, let me just read it. Whether be the frost or the violence of the dog days, it's like whether it's like winter, whether it's summer, whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
no matter the time, I'm on waves out being tossed. Is there a line that I could just go cross? It's like can you like just imagine someone like out in the middle of the ocean and it's like wave after wave coming after that. And he's just like,
Mm-hmm.
can I just get a pause to stand like for 1 second? And I feel like people don't understand like that's what depression is like. Like every
Yeah.
day you feel like you're being drowned, like
Yeah.
you're genuinely drowning, like you were fighting for your life but people don't see it. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
that one person, like when she's like, and when I was shipwrecked I thought of you, in the cracks of light I dreamed of you, it was real enough to get me through but I swear you were there. So it's like you just have to like find something, even if it's not real, to hold on to literally just
Mm-hmm.
like survive. And then finally she's like, I don't think this pain will be forevermore, because she's like finally at the point where she's
Yeah.
like, maybe I can see like a little bit of light. But it's so
Yeah.
intense because it's like
It is very intense. Yeah.
you're literally drowning and
Yeah.
like no one's there to save you. You're just waiting for there to be a pause so that you can like literally catch breath, but there just isn't.
Mm-hmm. And
So
even the part where it says, "Is there a line that I could just go cross?" Like that could be interpreted both ways. Like I could give up and just like,
yeah.
you know, let it overtake me, let it consume me. Or but like where is that line? Like you don't know where it is. And that's like a
Yeah,
daily struggle, because it's like, do I even have the strength to keep going on? Or is it easier for me to just give up and like just like let the waves take me?
exactly. And the part where earlier in the song, well, I guess it's also repeated in the end, but where she's like, and I was catching my breath, barefoot in the wildest winter, catching my death. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like you're trying to catch your breath, but you're still in the wildest winter and like you're like slowly dying. Like you're trying to
Yeah.
do is catch your breath like every day is like you're just trying to get by, but like you're slowly killing yourself.
Yeah.
Or like the pain is slowly killing you, and it's just so sad.
It is so sad. So, and then with that deep man voice, I'm just like, It's painful.
When he's like, cannot think of all the cars.
Literally. It's like that invasive voice in your head. Like literally, like she's like, you know, trying to sing about the things that the one thing or the one person that like gets her through. And like the whole time that deep voice in the background is like all the things that will be lost. Like just continuing to ask these questions, like the cost, the weather, the violence of the dog days, the waves, just like it's just, you know, that continual like feeling that you get, like even on your good days, you know, sometimes you might feel buffeted by like all those like depressing thoughts and things like that.
I like that, like, whenever they're going back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
she says, but I swear. And then he says, is there a line that we could just go cross? And then she says, you were there. It's like, even in the darkest moment of like thinking, is there a line that we could just go cross? Like, you were there and you were the one that kept me from crossing that line. I don't know if you can hear me. You're frozen.
I'm back.
Did
I
you?
heard like half of it, but I
Okay,
don't know if it recorded. It's fine. You can repeat it if you
I'll
want.
just say it again in case it didn't record. Sorry for our listeners. But the part where she's like, but I swear, and then he says, is there a line that we could just go cross? And then she says, you were there. So it's like you're at the point where you're about to cross that line of giving up, but like there's just
Mm-hmm.
that like one thing or one person that keeps you from doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Can't lose hope.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the last verse and then ends with, I had a feeling so peculiar, this pain wouldn't be forevermore. Because like that one thing is keeping her going.
Yeah. And just like it changes from it being forevermore to being not, like there's a glimpse of hope. Like that is not the end. And I like that song a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song is so freaking good. Like just like the picture of mental illness that it like depicts is just like, I feel like sometimes people that don't have mental illness don't understand like it's genuinely like debilitating, and
Mm-hmm.
this
It's
is
not
like
something you can
a good
control because it's
depiction of it.
literally part of your brain. Yeah. Like it's like literally like chemical imbalances. Like people are not faking it.
And on that note, I feel like we should talk about This Is Me Trying.
Yeah. Let's do this lovely sad one to wrap it up. I
Yeah,
actually love This Is Me Trying. Oh, but it's also so depressing.
yeah. So in like the Long Pond Studio recording, she kind of mentioned that it was about a couple different things, but um specifically someone like experiencing addiction and
Mm-hmm.
how like every day they're trying to fight this fight, kind of similar to Evermore, but it's
Yeah.
like they're trying to fight and it's like this is them trying, like getting through the day, surviving. This is like the hardest that they can do. Like they are trying their hardest, and to an outside person it may not look like that, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's literally like taking all of their effort to get through this. So
Yeah. And a lot of the lines are like pretty dark. Like I didn't know if you'd hear if I came back, pulled the car off the road to look out, could have followed my fears all the way down. Like this
yeah,
person was in a very bad mental place. Like
like
and they
definitely
don't know how to express that like they are trying to get better, but like this is all that they can do right now at the moment.
yeah, like all they can do is show up at your door. Like
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah.
didn't pull their car off the road. They didn't follow their fears all the way down. Like they didn't end it there. They're
Mm-hmm.
at your door like asking for help, and that's like the most that they can do in that moment.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the line that says, I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the people like in like high school, I feel like this is us. When we were like the overachievers
Yeah, we were
and
doing too much.
we got all of our
Literally.
satisfaction from like grades and what other
Mm-hmm.
people thought of us and like all this
Mm-hmm.
external,
Yeah,
what am I,
validation. Yeah.
yeah, validation. And it's like I was so ahead of the curve became a sphere.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like then you're just going in circles of like,
Right. Like you're chasing something that you're never gonna catch.
Exactly.
And then it says you fell behind on your classmates and you ended up here. Like you were running so hard that like you didn't even know where you were going, and now you're in this place pouring out my heart to a stranger, but I didn't pour the whiskey. So that part I can definitely see how it's like about addiction. Like, you know, you need to get that mental load off of your mind, but like it, and it's gonna be hard, but you were able to, like, you know, hold back from the things that you were doing before or something like
Yeah.
that.
And then, oh my gosh, this is probably my favorite part where it says, "At least I'm trying." And it's hard to be at a party when I feel like an open wound. It's hard to be
Mm-hmm.
anywhere these days when all I want is you. You're a flashback in a film reel on the one screen in my town. And it's just like everything is going on around you still. Everyone else is still living their lives. They're like having a party, and it's like you just feel like you're an open wound. Like you don't want to be there. Like you are hurt
Yeah.
so badly, but yeah, everyone around you is like going on. And then the line where it's like, it's hard to be anywhere these days when all I want is you. Obviously, there's like a sense of loss there. You're a
Mm-hmm.
flashback in a film reel on the one screen in my town. It's like you get a flash of that person, but they're not there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so much.
It's so sad
Mm,
because it the
yeah.
song I feel like it's just nice to like hear because I feel like everyone it's just like sometimes you feel like everyone around you is like doing fine and like living
Mm-hmm.
their lives, and it's like social media has made it so bad. Like you
It's
see
such,
everyone.
yeah, it's a lie. Like
Yeah.
it seems so real, and then you, like, you know, it makes you feel horrible about yourself. You're like, oh, why am I not like doing that, blah 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 blah, but it's like you don't know what people are hiding,
Yeah.
and they could be going through a lot more that they obviously are not going to show online, and that's just not something that we think about all the time.
Yeah, and it's like maybe, like you see all these people doing all these things, but it's like the line where it's like it's hard to be at a party when I feel like an open wound. Like maybe they're out doing those things. Maybe they're trying and
Mm-hmm.
it looks like their life is together, but like maybe they feel like an open wound.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what they're going through. Oh my gosh, my favorite book, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Thank you, Jonathan Safran Foer. One of my favorite quotes from that book is like, what did it say? Something about like I looked at all the people and wondered like who are they missing or like why are they hurting or something like that. And it's just like you don't know what other people are going through at
Mm-hmm.
all.
Yeah.
But it's like slightly comforting. Like it's sad, but it's also comforting.
Yeah. Yeah. And like not even talking about the lyricism, I just really like what she did with like literally the poetic elements, like the rhyme scheme, and then she like changes the rhyme scheme because, you know, she wants to make a point. Like adjusting, resting, back, that, down, say, way, mental, potential, mad, that, sphere here. But then she says stranger, whiskey. Like it's very like it's very intentional how she wrote the lyrics and the lines of this song.
Like the
Um,
structure of it even.
yeah, like you could definitely read this and analyze it just like a poem, like, and just like have the same amount of like depth to it as in the song because
Yeah.
it is basically a poem anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a great summary, a great interpretations. Do you have any final thoughts on this song or any other songs that we interpreted today?
All I know is there were so many more songs and like
Mm-hmm.
they're all so good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're just like she really stepped up her game with
She
these
did.
albums.
And
They're
I
so
feel like
good.
that's why so many like people who didn't really listen to her music before, they kind of got more into it just because it is like pretty relatable, or at least it's like, even if you haven't like personally experienced every, you know, horrible relationship that she talks about, at least you can relate to like just having a relationship with a person, or just like, you know, understanding how people are, or how mental illness works, or just like those feelings that you get, you know, when you're in bad places. Like all of it is very relatable, and that's why it connects with a lot of people.
I wish we'd gone to August.
I know.
Wanting
We'll have to
to-
make a part two.
Yes.
Part two in August. We'll talk about August.
Yes. Oh my gosh. August for August. Yes.
Yes. So
You
yeah.
know I'm gonna analyze that bridge so hard.
Oh, we ready. That entire that love triangle, that's its own episode, honestly, at this point.
But honestly, Betty, you should have dropped James. No offense.
Yeah, she deserved better. Not a hot take. She deserved way better.
And also Augustine, she deserved better too.
She deserved better. It's
I
always
relate.
it's always James.
I relate
James.
to Augustine though.
Who
I'm
was
like
that?
that hurt.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyways.
James.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Please feel free to share this episode. Follow us on Instagram, 76 cents pod. Let us know what you want to listen to next. We'll probably make another one of these for August, obviously.
Hopefully.
I'll knock on wood that our schedules line up again. But I mean, I want to keep making episodes, so
yeah, I want to keep making episodes, but like if you listen to our New Year's episode, you know what? You didn't hear that. You didn't hear our promise.
That never happened. We're just not gonna stick to a hard plan right now. We're just gonna go with the flow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Bye guys. Let us know what you next.
See you next time.